listening to the BVTV network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, this is episode 2 in the Greener Energies Futures trilogy with business support expert Simon Pine. Hello again, Simon.
Hello, Malcolm. How are you doing?
I'm looking forward to moving this forward because it's so important to the future, not just of our planet, but also my grandchildren, for instance. Really, really important. It's right to the heart of everything. So in episode 1, you clearly laid out the essential knowledge every business needs. Now, let's get started on the journey to sustainability. Where does it start? What's the goal? And what's the action needed?
It's a good point, isn't it? So I think last time we talked about the scale of ambition. So I think, getting the stakeholders on board and understanding who it was that was going to support you and to what extent on this journey of reducing your carbon emissions. The second stage is really what I would call analysis. So we go from ambition to analysis. Analysis is understanding where you're at today, where the pots of carbon are in your organization and what you might be able to do about reducing those. So this is a really important phase. You need to consider how much of your organization, how much of your value chain you want to encompass in this assessment of carbon, how much you want to take responsibility for and create goals on. Clearly, you could just frame it as the buildings and the transport and the people that you have direct day-to-day influence over. But you may want to look at the suppliers that bring goods into your business and transforming the sort of impact they have, and also maybe further downstream the customers that you serve, and all of those. There are frameworks to help you with these analysis, particularly what's called the Greenhouse Gas Protocol, publicly available framework that makes a very clear statement of what parts of carbon you could consider in your analysis of your footprint. So I think that's the next stage. It's something we spend a lot of time on. It pulls out all sorts of interesting gremlins in companies' footprints, be it the surprise of how much money they're spending and how much carbon is being created by the goods that come into their business, or perhaps how much carbon results from the investments they make in pensions, which can be very significant. So it's a real eye-opener for most organizations.
Yeah. Money is sneaky. Money hides in places, doesn't it? Is carbon like that as well?
It totally is. It totally is, because for a start, you can't see carbon emissions, so it makes it really tricky to engage with them except on a theoretical level. And it hides in air conditioning systems with the refrigerant gases in there. It hides in the pension investments you make. You and I talked about a mining company just now offline, and mining companies. There's an awful lot of emissions that are taken in the extraction processes for the goods that we receive into our organizations.
Yeah, I suppose as well, though, we've got to tolerate some elements because, mining, I was interviewing an owner of a mine in Madagascar recently that mines lithium. And of course, we need lithium for batteries. But, and we're all encouraging to go into aluminium or aluminum for my American viewers. But again, that is a very polluting product, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But interestingly, I think it's being demonized. But it's important to recognize that whatever we do, whatever extractive industry, whatever items we consume, we're going to generate some sort of environmental impact. Lithium is less so, I would argue, than oil extraction, which is hugely damaging. But it isn't the solution. I think if we think that electric vehicles are going to get us out of the climate crisis, we need to think again. It's going to be about walking more, bicycling more, and using public transport, and really shifting away from cars. So these are the sort of difficult assessments that organizations need to make. We can help them pick out where their environmental impacts are and how much shifting from petrol cars to electric cars and to active transport will help them.
Yeah. What's the benefits to a business? I mean, let's put it bluntly, whilst businesses these days are becoming more conscious, and that's important, planet, people, profit, that sort of thing, there's still the need to manage to survive, isn't there? And sometimes, survival, if we're looking at Maslow's hierarchy, survival might come before elements such as carbon. What is the goal that they can what can they achieve by becoming net zero, working with you people to reduce the carbon?
I think it's a really important question, because when brass tacks, when you get down to brass tacks, when I'm sitting eyeball with a company and saying, or an organization and saying, you should spend money on solving this problem, that will come up. What are the benefits? What's in it for me? And I think there is a degree of self-interest, right? And that's fair enough. Whether you're trying to just comply and reduce your emissions, there is a lot of compliance out there. If you want to serve the public sector in the UK now, and you want to sell them anything worth more than 5 million quid in the UK, you will need to have a net zero plan. So there's some self-interest there. There are genuine cost savings on the next level up in terms of ambition. There are cost savings from reducing your energy usage and for working with suppliers to reduce and make yourself more efficient. There is customer attraction to be had from it, because people do want to buy from environmentally friendly brands. We see that regularly. And then perhaps, if in some circumstances, an owner of a business will say, I believe in it, we're going to do it, swim with me or get out of the boat, or, that's a terrible, terrible expression.
I know.
But so, there's plenty of reasons to do it.
Excellent. Yes. And strange enough, just before we went on air, I was just reading an article that's come in from Construction News today, saying that there's encouragement within to government to look at tenders on the carbon reduction, less carbon being used rather than cost. So much around there. Thanks, Simon. Now, let me remind our audience of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's, greener energy futures.net. greenerenergyfutures.net. Now, my suggestion is that you go to Simon's site and watch the collection of videos is recorded. The more information you can gain in this whole subject matter is better. It's in my thinking and in my experience also in working daily with businesses. And every day, Simon and his team are working with businesses to get their plans into action. I think it's totally important that business leaders and owners don't see all of this as just another administration or paperwork burden. This is the basis of you being a conscious leader of a conscious business. In episode 3, I'm asking Simon to take us further on our continuing sustainability journey and chat about matters such as Scope 3 and supply chain, both an opportunity and a possible challenge for you. Are you up for it, Simon?
Absolutely.